Hi, everyone. Welcome into the Saturday morning edition of Region Weather Live. Here's the deal today. There's a lot of rain coming our way, and I know a lot of you, I've gotten a lot of private messages about timing for different events and stuff like that. And so I wanted to kind of level set with everyone once again. We did this last weekend, but it seems to be, with all these events and the rain timing, I think it's very important to let everyone know when we think rain is going to hit today, in case you do have an event, how heavy that rain's going to be and how long it's going to last, because I know you've got a lot going on. And if it's not a big event, that's fine. You've got errands to run and you just want a general Saturday to, enjoy the weather around here. And so we'll dive into that here. If you're watching this any later here this morning, the radar is going to be a little outdated, but the information should still be the same. Again, it's 8:14 Central Time here with this broadcast. And so again, check your watch. If it's a little off on that, that's okay. This information should be A-okay. And as always, support our sponsors up above. This is a free broadcast for them. But again, great businesses up there, all local and family owned. All right, let's say hi to our early birds here this morning. And I do mean early birds. You probably like to sleep in on your Saturday. We've got kids. We've got a soccer competition today. And so trying to fit this in before we head to that. But I'll be around tracking the radar today if needed here this afternoon. All right, Darlene, good morning to you. Hope your morning's going well. Happy weekend to you, Rhonda. Deshaun says, I kind of like the Saturday Region Weather Live concept. Yeah, it's very helpful, especially, when we have weather like this coming our way. We've got Jan on us, or on our YouTube channel. Appreciate that, Jan. Good morning to you. Don from Mayberry's here. Good morning, Deshaun, to you. George is with us. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah, these interim updates, whenever I'm thinking about the weather, I know you guys are as well. And I know, again, we're trying to thread the needle in terms of rainfall. There's Jan, there's Wendy with us this morning. Good morning, Amanda. It is so humid outside. JP, good to be with you this morning. Tom reporting 2.25 inches of rain over the last 2 days in Munster. Awesome, Tom. That's a very similar number for a lot of areas here in the region. Good morning, Carol. Lynn's with us. Mike, good morning from you. Good morning from the drier than the rest Munster. You must have a different sensor there. But yeah, it's been drier than a lot of spots with some of these storms seem to miss Munster. I know. Emily's with us this morning as well. Bree's with us. JK, good morning. And Stacy asking how Hammond, Gary, and Maryville will be. We have a birthday party around 3. That's what I'm talking about. There are events going on. All right, so it's going to be the same for everyone here in the region today, okay? So I know you've got your town where you're at, but all the towns are going to be the same today, okay? We've got the same setup. And this is the radar this morning. We've got a pretty good thunderstorm right now moving through northern Newton County. You can kind of see it here. It's like the initial batch of what is a much bigger line out towards the west. So Lake Village, Roselawn, heads up. You've got some lightning coming your way. This is just north of Morocco. We did have a lightning strike outside of this near Mount Ayr. So keep a heads up on that. You want to make sure you bring everything in, even if you're not even underneath this. And that'll be heading into DeMont here soon. And Hebron probably getting some rain from this as well. Real good downpours. Our atmosphere today is extremely capable of very heavy rain. We measure that with something called precipitable water values, which is a big word, but basically, if you were to take a column of the air up above us and you were to wring it out, you could tell how much water would come out of that. And the numbers are near record levels here today. A couple reasons. We've got Gulf moisture coming in from a system that was down in Louisiana that was spraying it all our way. We've got a big high pressure off the East Coast that's pushing in Atlantic and Gulf air. It's just one of those setups where we've just got the maximum amount of moisture right now across the region. And you feel that outside. One of the products of that is the dew point, and our dew points are sky high once again. There's just so much moisture. It's so thick outside. So I say that because we've got the risk of some, not just downpours today, but some incredible downpours today. And you guys know the drill. When sometimes you see it rain and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't think it could rain any harder than this. That's the potential from our atmosphere today. And we're seeing that right now in northern Newton County. It's coming down really good within that storm. But as we zoom on out, you can see we've got a large complex of storms out towards the west. How does this miss us, right? Well, it doesn't. In terms of our setup today, there is a marginal risk for severe weather across portions of the region. And as a result, we may have a stronger storm or two. Damaging winds would be primary, threat from that. I'm not overly worried about severe weather threat today. I think the bigger threat is going to be heavy rain and obviously timing it out with your Saturday plans. It's not going to go well. So I'm just going to say this. Today looks like a really rainy day. It really does. And even after this next wave moves through, which is going to take quite a bit of the morning and midday getting through here, there are some signs that we still get some development on the backside, although, those don't look quite as great. So what we've got here, we've got initial storms that'll roll through. These will get into southern Lake Porter counties and northern Jasper County here. You can see that batch right there heading north. Those will likely get into LaPorte County as well. That's our initial batch of rain. And then we deal with this big complex back towards the west. You can see how the most active weather on this is on the southern end, all right? And that southern end will get into the region as well, and that'll provide more heavy rain and some more thunderstorms around here. Although that southern end is starting to sink on outflow boundaries just a little bit. And so we may see that push a little bit further south like Newton, Jasper County. We'll see. But either way, on the northern end of this next complex coming in, we've got some real soaking rain coming in. It's just a general, moderate to at times heavy rain. There's no severe threat with this, but there's just a big area of heavy rain on top of that. And so we're going to see that move in once we get about an hour and a half, 2 hours away. This will start to move in. And so now we're talking, 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock. We have this next batch moving in. That will likely take, in my mind, through midday to get through here, probably even early afternoon. And then after that, there are some signs that what's back here in Missouri would be overhead. It would be a little bit further south in terms of the heavy stuff, but the potential is there for that to pop more as we get some daytime heating around here. So all that to say, we've got really good rain chances all day. And if I were to pick a window of time where we're not going to have a lot of rain around, it's really tough to do looking at the radar this morning and looking at some of the model runs, just because this boundary's in place and we continue to get this renewed flow of moisture. Normally, when we get a line of storms through here, it clears out after that because the atmosphere is zapped. That's not the setup today. Today's setup is basically it just keeps getting fueled. And so it doesn't care if storms move through. It'll keep producing rain and storms beyond that. And that pattern is going to last all day, unfortunately. It will start to move out tomorrow. So I don't want to use the term washout because I rarely use that, but we're heading in that direction today, all right? I do think it gets a little bit more scattered this afternoon. So if you do have plans this afternoon into the evening hours, I feel like the rain's going to get a little bit more scattered, but those scattered cells that are out there are still going to be producing some heavy rain, all right? So that's the synopsis. Let's look at some of the modeling. This is the brand new 12Z, which is coming in right now. You see it's 41% done. Well, actually, you can't see. That's about 41% complete. But that 41% takes us through our Saturday, so that's all we really need at this point. We always look for model initiation, so it has a real good handle on where this complex is right now. So I like this model. That's why I'm showing it to you. So as we go through time, it takes that complex up into northern Illinois and Lake Michigan. I don't agree with that part. I think we'll have a good deal of moisture on the southern end, bringing us our rain late morning through midday, okay? And then once that wave moves through, that's when I want to see what's going to happen this afternoon. Well, we've still got that boundary lingering out towards the west. We've still got a deep flow of moisture coming in here. And so the HRRR develops more rain and storms. And this carries us through our afternoon into our evening, okay? And then eventually that would push out. We would quiet out late evening into tonight. And then tomorrow we would deal with that boundary down to our south. Can't rule out a pop-up in the region, but most of the action should be down to the south as we'd have improving conditions throughout the day tomorrow. But my point is we've got this big complex of rain, which I think the model takes it a little bit too far north. I think it'll be right over the region. And then as we go into the afternoon, there's more pops. And these could be a little bit further south, but I still think we get some rain off of it. The Weather Prediction Center, you've seen this before. You've probably seen this with severe weather. They also predict, the Weather Prediction Center does, not Storm Prediction Center. Weather Prediction Center predicts where there's a good risk of flash flooding. And you probably got the alert if you're in Lake County. We've got a flood watch out. I would extend that all across northwest Indiana. I know we've been dry, relatively speaking, but some of these downpours are going to produce some very heavy rain today, as we talked about. And it doesn't take much, especially on some of our spots that haven't seen a lot of rain the last week and a half, where these storms have missed you. When you have drier soil, it takes a while for that water to soak in. So if we're throwing some real heavy downpours on there, I know it may not seem dry outside after these rounds of rain, but it still is. We're not soaked all the way down. And so when that rain falls, oftentimes it takes a while to soak into the ground. So that being said, we do run the risk of flash flooding today, and you can see the Weather Prediction Center has all of northern Indiana and Illinois, for that matter, under a slight risk, which is pretty high for some flash flooding. And their criteria is it's a 15% chance within 25 miles. That sounds so complicated. Don't worry about that. Just know that there's a risk for some of these heavy downpours to go over the same area over and over, and we could have some flash flooding in spots. All right. How much rain are we talking? Well, let's get to the latest model run here. I'm going to go back to the 12Z, and this is the latest HRRR. I mean, we're talking amounts. I know these aren't off the charts, but this is for one day, okay? Some of these amounts could be on the order of 1 to 2 inches of rain. The HRRR is saying there are going to be pockets. Doesn't mean they're going to be where they're located on here, but there are going to be pockets where some spots get 2 to 3 inches of rain, okay? That's not for everyone. Don't think that you're going to get 2 to 3 inches of rain at your house. That's just the potential where some of these storms end up lining up or training over the same area, okay? But we are right in the bullseye in terms of rainfall today, and that's why the Weather Prediction Center says, yep, slight risk of flash flooding around this area, okay? And then Sunday, it does look like we clear out, just kind of an early look at that. We'll still have a rain chance around here. I have a hunch most of it's going to be down to the south. Newton and Jasper County may have a lingering shower or storm pop on Sunday, but we should be saying goodbye to this moisture. And then we talk heat. It gets really hot around here Sunday afternoon and then especially Monday. And we're waiting these MCS clusters or these big complexes of storms. We'll be watching those roam areas of the Great Lakes much of next week. So there's no telling where those go right now, but there are some indications that we would have something going through the Great Lakes Monday or Tuesday. And then we bring this front through late week. We'll talk more about this on our Region Weather Live Sunday evening, but we'll bring this front through. And this front, you saw my last post, it's going to bring some nice shot of drier, more comfortable air in here just in time to start August and just in time for next weekend, okay? So hang in there if you don't like this stuff, all right? We're going to get there eventually. We really will, okay? So that's what I've got. If you have questions here today, if you've got outdoor plans, if you've got an event scheduled, something like that, it's not looking good. I'm going to be honest. Normally, I think we can escape it, but if it's morning or midday, doesn't look great because this big complex is going to be coming in. Afternoon gets a little bit more questionable in terms of when that dry weather is going to be, but I do expect the activity to become a little bit more scattered this afternoon, so we'll have some dry hours in the mix, but there's still going to be a pretty good flow of moisture coming in from this stuff in Missouri, all right? So that's what we're dealing with. I'm sorry, not great news here today in terms of some of the rain that we've got going around, okay? All right, Dave points out 149 days till winter. Not complaining about this. Yeah, we'll take the rain and storms, right? Oh, no, Megan says several bounce houses going on today, mostly water slides. Yeah, the kids are still going to have fun in it. Megan, we just need to keep an eye out for lightning. That's all. We're going to have some lightning in this as well at times. So just be careful with that. The kids love to play in the rain. We let our kids outside in the rain. I'm a stickler for lightning, though. If there's lightning anywhere close, I'm like, bring it in, kids. And they're like, why? So there's that. Yeah, so Stacy's saying party, not a good idea. We'll be rained out. But Stacy, there's going to be a lot of rain around. I mean, it's going to be a pretty good soaking today. If you have an indoor option for that, or maybe the garage or something like that, I don't think it's a total loss. We're not dealing with, I'm not expecting huge storms today to roll through or anything like that. It's just going to be a rainy day and we'll have occasional thunderstorms. The one storm we'll have to watch is going to be this one right here. We'll see how this one develops. There has been some wind with that one, some stronger wind, and that looks to have some good energy as it comes across. We'll also need to keep an eye on these storms right now that are developing. There's a lot of instability to tap into already down in Newton and Jasper County. We've got some pretty good downpours with that and quite a bit of lightning with that as well. So a couple storms we need to keep an eye on. If we get some storms early, like the storm that's going through now and then that wave coming out of Illinois, if we get two storms with that, it looks rainier after that, all right? We're not going to get storm today. We're going to get a few storms, and then we should just turn kind of rainy after that as our atmosphere is a little bit more tapped into, but that moisture is really not going away anytime soon. Yeah, Cindy, it becomes a little bit more scattered this evening, but we're still looking at rain redeveloping on the backside of this, and so rain will be around this evening, okay? You're welcome, man. Absolutely. Yeah, so I know, big series going on. Cubs Sox 6:10. It's going to be interesting. So this block is going to be out of here by then, obviously. It all depends on what happens after that, Dale. And the models are indicating that there will be some redevelopment on the backside of all this. And that's, to be honest, meteorologically, all the models are showing it, okay? As a meteorologist, it's kind of tough for me to see how stuff develops this evening, because I feel like this would steal the show, this big block, right? That this big chunk would get out of here, and then we'd be kind of quiet this evening. That's what my intuition would say. But I got to follow some of the modeling in terms of that frontal boundary still going to be here. So once this block gets out of here, the models are agreeing that more stuff redevelops. Okay, so that's why I say more scattered this afternoon. Hopefully my intuition's right in terms of we do kind of dry out a little bit more with just a few things on radar this evening, but some of the models are really showing a renewed flow of moisture coming in here. So that's that. Oh, Anne Marie's got a daughter's graduation party, 2 to 6. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. 2 to 6 looks a lot better than 10 to 2. So there's that. Hopefully we can get this chunk out of here. We dry out for a little bit. We'll see. But again, I foresee this thing really taking up much of our day as it gets through. Okay, with some rain around here and some renewed development beyond that. Okay. All right. I think that's it. You guys have a wonderful day today. We'll be on it. If you guys have any questions, just feel free to private message the region weather page, and we'll get back to you on that. Otherwise, have a great Saturday. I hope you found this helpful this morning, kind of timing out, making some plans in terms of how the day is going to go. All right. Celebrate, though. You made it to the weekend. It's Saturday. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. And we'll talk to you again, probably face-to-face, unless there's something that goes really haywire today. We'll talk face-to-face again on our Sunday evening Region Weather Live, which will be at our regularly scheduled time at 6 p.m. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good